Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Hugo, and today we're going to see what's going to be the best stocks for this week. We're going to talk about the market analysis and the portfolio, the market in terms of the SP500 and the BTC, and we're going to also talk about this gentleman over here and the Doge Coin and what has happened to Bitcoin and what influence may cause on the growing stocks. So stay around. Before we start the video, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Only 3.9% of my viewers are subscribers, and I need your help to reach that 1,000 subscribers. So smash that button. Let's get back to the video. So we're going to start the week with Energy Transfer. Energy Transfer, this is actually a stock that I have on my portfolio. Has a dividend yield of 6.63%. It's one of my best top payers in my portfolio, and also has a big percentage of my portfolio in terms of investment. They pay quarterly, February, May, August, and November. So we supposedly we're going to be paid next month in July, because usually eToro only pays 1 month after, and they are undervalued about 60%. So this is a really good stock. It's really undervalued. They had increased a bit in the past few months, but they still undervalued in 60%. So I really think this is a good stock to have on a portfolio. The ex-dividend date is on the 9th of May, so this is today. We don't have time to buy it now because of the 2 days that eToro needs to do the transaction. So in this case, I recommend you to put on your watch list, because this is a really good stock and it's been growing in the past months and years. In terms of financial health, they are quite good, 2 Gs. So they have more assets than liabilities, around 2 billion, something like that. And the market sentiment at the moment, it's a buy. This week, we're going to talk about energy and oil and crude. So this goes a little bit against what Elon Musk always tried to bring forward with the electric cars and electrification. But we're going to talk about oil for this week, because they are the only 3 stocks this week that we have with more than 5% of dividend yield. Enbridge Inc., it's one stock from Canada, I do believe. They have a dividend yield of 6.82%. They pay quarterly, the same thing as ET, January, May, August, and November. They are undervalued in 22%, and the ex-dividend date is on the 12th of May, so you still have time to buy this one. The only thing is the financial health, it's a B. The only thing we need to be careful with this stock is the earnings don't cover the dividends they have for at least for 3 years already. So this is the only thing that we need to have on our back of our minds for a short period, like 6 months or something like that, will be a nice investment, because the financial health, it's a B, they have more liabilities than assets, and the growth for this year is only 14%. On the opposites, ET is going to be around 48%, which I forgot to mention. ExxonMobil is also one of the stocks that I always had under my eyes, but since I have Chevron, CVX, I prefer to have CVX than actually Mobile. At the time that I bought Chevron, had a higher dividend yield than actually Exxon. Exxon is a quite good stock, but in terms of financial health, it's worse than Chevron. The dividend yield is 5.71%. They pay quarterly as well in January, May, August, and November. They are undervalued in 1.9% only, so that's why I went for Chevron than actually Exxon at the time that when I bought, because they are still undervalued, but they are still too high. And on the past months, they outperform actually the stocks in terms of the price. Regarding the Chevron, the ex-dividend date is on the May 11th, and the financial health, it's a B, because of the bad financial situation that they are at the moment. We don't know if they're going to be bought or not by Chevron or any other company, but the things are still in the air. The market sentiment, it's still a hold because of the whole situation that's going on with the ExxonMobil. So this week, let's talk about the SP500 and the BTC. Let's see what's going to happen for this week, if we're going to have good news. Do you remember that the last week we actually had to test the resistance on around the $4,150, which was what happened with the estimation, and the provision that I've made was actually true, and we reached we tested again the support at that value and was quite good. Now let's see if we're going to see another breakout. Let's look into the graphs now. So regarding the SP500, we're going to still have a bull market, as we can see here on the MACD, for the next week or so. We may see this cross more towards the end of the week, but usually Friday is going to be a good day. Let's see what's going to happen. We had a big increase on the past days, so this Monday probably we're going to have a negative Monday, since we had a big increase here, and we're expecting to see something like this week. We may test here the resistance, so the resistance around the 4,250, something like that, and then we're going to have a drop, but we're not going to be too far from this line. So if we see the interval for 1 hour, we're going to see a drop for the next Monday or so, because we had a big increase during the bull market here on the past three days of the past week. So we established here now some resistance, as you can see here, and we may drop a bit, but then we're going to have another positive week. We had good news coming from Biden and from the American administration. The only thing that happened here is we may going to see a crisis on the housing. The house market crisis is going to continue for the next 2 years at least. We're going to have increase around 20% of the house markets. The REITs had a big impact because of that news, and but I'm not seeing the markets going down for the next days or so, because the government is still injecting money, or printing money, which is the reality, and we're still going to see this coming up for the next month or so. As you can see here on the MACD, what's going to happen is this curve is now trying to change the tendency, this as well. So this may, more towards the end of the week or so, we may see another growth. But for the next 2 or 3 days, Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, we're going to see some drop because of this curve is going to shift. So we're going to shift from a bull market to a bearish market. This may be the tendency for this week. Let's see what's going to happen. In terms of BTC, what happened with all this Doge Coin and Elon Musk with the SLN? We had a decrease around 30% on Doge Coin. What happened was there was a shift from other altcoins and BTC to this Doge Coin, and has caused a drop on the Bitcoin and also on other altcoins. There was a shift. And after the SLN and Elon Musk coming out saying that it's going to offer to his mom Dogecoin, as soon as that came up, the Doge went down around the 30%, and we have that shift from Dogecoin to ADA. So as you can see, ADA had increased around 5% in the last Sunday because of that shift, that people went out from Doge to invest in ADA. This also was true for some growing stocks. The growing stocks had a decrease on the past week. I don't know if people were selling to invest in Doge. Was a big mistake anyway. If people have done that, I did have the opportunity to sell Corsair. I tried to sell as well Palantir, and unfortunately that didn't happen. Let's see what's going to happen with Palantir on the next upcoming week. They are around, on my portfolio, they are around minus 8%, but still I do believe it's going to increase. Let's see if I don't need to do another average on it during this week. In resume for the Bitcoin, what's going to happen? It's the MACD is going to say that we are going to see still a bull market for the next week or so, but this line is going to collide more towards the end of the week. But we're still going to have a positive day, and we may reach the 60K for sure during this week. Let's see what's going to happen. We have now a new support around 55K. I don't see this going down more than 50K. Let's see more towards the end of August or so. Usually it's when the market has some correction, and the BTC as well, because it follows kind of the tendency of the SP500. So if you want to copy all my trades, you can do it by search my nickname by Knights on the search bar, and you can get and copy all the trades that you want. I do have also a spreadsheet where you can simulate the copy, where I'm going to show you more towards the end of the video. At the moment, my portfolio in the past 12 months had increased around 31%, as you can see on the graph, and you can follow this on the eToro as well. So this week, my portfolio outperformed the market in around 6.11%, with the market had a decrease on minus 1.7%, and my portfolio had a growth around 7.81%. The only thing that caused a negative impact was actually the growth stocks, which I got rid of Corsair in time, but I still didn't have the chance to sell Palantir, and Palantir is at the moment around minus 8%, but other stocks went up around 5% each. Since inception, my portfolio had increased around 20%, and the top 5 stocks for this week was Energy Transfer, which I mentioned today. This is due to the closing of the ex-dividend date. We had an increase of around 6.85%, and we still have 60% of undervalue on this stock, so it's quite good. The British American Tobacco bad sell had an increase of 5.13%. Actually, this is one of the stocks that I'm trying to get rid of, or trying to sell in upcoming months. I want to get out of the tobacco companies. It's not something that I believe, and I don't like to invest in something that I believe that doesn't going to have a future. I'm just waiting for the stock to increase a little bit higher, around the £3,500, to sell all my positions in American Tobacco. International Consolidated Airlines Group, since some of airlines in some countries in Europe already open the flights and the traffic, like Ireland, Portugal, Spain, Italy, France, etc. We had the increase as well in this stock, International Consolidated Airlines, which are the British Airlines and together with French Airlines. ABBV had also increased around 4.68%, and Berkshire Hathaway had increased around 4.36%. This was probably due to the annual general meeting, where Buffett mentioned why he didn't invest on the big techs and also other stocks like Tesla, etc. It was a quite interesting meeting where we have some insights of what's going on their heads and why they had some investments as for example, Catherine ARK investments, which are completely different. They are completely opposites side of minds, and the way they invest is completely different. So that's why I have both Berkshire Hathaway, which is more traditional, and ARK, which is more risky. So I do think Hathaway has less risk than actually ARK, which at the moment went down around 6%. Due to the growth stocks went down on the past week. The only thing that ARK did went down so much was due to Roku and other stock that I don't remember at the moment that had increased around 5% in the last week. So this was actually a big week. We had some sales there, which I got the chance to get in, where Disney was a new acquisition, Amazon was a new acquisition, and we had a lot of payments coming in, especially from AT&T. We had a big chunk of money coming in this week. AMZA, we had payments. AIG, we also had payments, and JNQ. Bear in mind, they've paid not only reference over the past month, but they paid 2 months in one. So that's why we didn't receive, but we're going to see this on the spreadsheet, and I'm going to explain you a little bit better. And we receive as well PFF. The open orders, I still have AGNC, MPW, which was one of the REITs that had a big impact, and I want to do some average. MCHI was also one of the stocks because I want to get rid of Alibaba, and I don't want to manage any stocks from China at the moment, and that's why I'm trying to invest on MCHI, which contains all those stocks, and therefore I don't need to add control or manage all those stocks. Since they don't pay any dividends, this stock or DC ETF pays dividends, which is much better than any stock that you can own by Tencent or Alibaba. ARK Invest, which had a decrease of minus 5% on my portfolio, which I tended to do some leverage as well, and to get more stocks from Disney as well. In terms of average that I've done this week was Intel, we had Disney, Amazon, Palantir, when they went down around minus 10%, and we had some averaging coming to the at least minus 5% mark, which more close to the end of the close of the bell. On the past week, they went down around minus 8%. So that's why I intended to do some average this week as well. ARK since went down minus 5%, and Realm because they have a high dividend yield and they pay every single month. And this week was also a chance to get some Realm because they went down around 3% or so. The top payers are still ET, Energy Transfer. The top dividend yields are still Realm with a 14.46%. My portfolio went up, so it was undervalued last week around 39%. Now it's 42.5%. This was due to the sale of some growing stocks which were high valued, like Corsair, and now I bought Amazon, which is still quite expensive, but they are still undervalued around 20%, which is quite good. My portfolio future growth went down around 1% from last week. Now it's around 17.9%, and the stock with the highest volatility and lowest volatility are still the same, PFG and Unilever.L. So now let's see all this on our spreadsheet. So if you are seeing this spreadsheet for the first time, this is a spreadsheet that I update every single Friday at the end of the close of the markets, where I update with all the values and also with the percentage. This is a simulation for $1,000 of investments, where you can see how much you're going to receive monthly and annually, and when you're going to get paid. Here I also put some marks or what was paid. So this week, for example, we got paid twice. So HIG, we were paid this month of May 2 months. So this one and this one was paid. This one and this one was paid regarding PFF. And I think JNQ also the same thing, but I didn't mark here, but also was the same thing. They paid 2 months in one. I don't know if this is regarding the volume of money that was transferred, but they paid 2 months in one for some reason. And also we had here T with a big chunk of money coming in for this week as well. So May is actually a good month. It's where we're going to receive more dividends. So, but we're not expecting to be paid all this month. June is where actually we're going to be paid, referring to May. In terms of average, you can see here it's in yellow: Amazon, ARK, Disney, Intel, Palantir, and Realm were the 6 stocks that I've done average and I bought. So Disney actually is new, and Palantir as well. And you can simulate by changing here the annual, for example, how much they paid. So this is the dividend yields. We have here 14%, how much we're going to receive, depending on how much shares you're going to get. And you can use this spreadsheet as you want to get an estimation of how much you're going to receive per month and when the payments are done, and all the actions that I do during the week. So I hope you enjoyed this week tips. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and hit the bell to receive upcoming videos for the next week. And again, guys, thank you, cheers, and see you next week. Bye bye.